What up, people? Marky, I'm back with y'all today with another video. Today's video is going to be on the things that realtors do behind the scenes. Today's going to be a cool video. Things that people do behind the scenes, or things that realtors do behind the scenes. Things that people don't see. People don't see us do, or they're not aware of us doing it, or they might be aware of us doing it, but we don't show it all the time, or people don't show it. Other realtors don't show these things. So I want to give an insight into the things that we do behind the scenes. Let's go, people. Step one, but first thing I'm going to give you guys is the driving. The driving that us realtors do is ridiculous. People don't realize how much driving we do. We do a lot of driving, sometimes for nothing. Sometimes you'll drive in circles and you're putting mileage on your car. That's wear and tear on your vehicle. That's mileage. That's tires. That's oil. That's gas. All these things do cost, right? They all do add up, right? Yes, we can subtract mileage and get paid for that at the end of the year. Or should I say, subtract mileage and so deduct that from our expenses so we can write that off at the end of the year. A lot of realtors don't. They're like, hey, I make big bucks. I don't need to. I know a couple of them. They're like, no, I don't even fool with mileage. Because, yes, I get it. It's tedious. But, hey, it's savings. I'm telling you right now, we can spend a lot of money driving. Okay? So right off your mileage. Okay, so there's a lot of driving that you guys are not aware about. Sometimes when it comes to this driving stuff, we might go say for people that work with Zillow and Realtor leads, we might get a phone call and they say, "Hey, I want to go see this house." Okay, cool. You go and hop in the car. You go show them this property, maybe two of them. You never hear from that person again in your life. You call them up, you text them, you email them, and they're just ghosts. They just wanted to use you to get into that one property that they weren't going to buy, weren't even thinking about buying it. But yes, it happens often. We show thousands of homes, and you might not get paid. If you're a buyer's agent, especially in this market, whoo, man, where it's taking 5 to 9 offers before it even gets accepted, sometimes you might not get paid for 2, 3 months. So take that with a grain of salt when you're working with your realtor. Please be respectful, respect their time as they're going to, in my opinion, please calculate your mileage. I'm not the best at it either. And sometimes you'll hop in the car and before you know it, you done drove to 4 houses or to the office and back and oh man, I forgot to turn on my app or forgot to write that down or whatever the case may be. There's apps out here for that. Please use the app. It will make your life way easier. A lot of stress that's going to be just taken off of your plate if you use an app. So use an app. There's an app for this. There's many of them out there. I'm not going to just go here and name them all, but there's a few apps out there to where, yes, you can go ahead and you can get this stuff taken care of for you. Okay? Please use an app. That app is going to track all this stuff, monitor it for you to where you don't want to be in that boat to where at the end of the year you got all these mileage that you didn't even write off, didn't think about it, and before you know it, it's a done deal, right? No, that's one right there where we waste tons of time and gas and money and down the drain driving. You're not going to get that time back. Sometimes when people are trying to do wholesale deals or flips and things like that, they will drive an hour to go see that property. Oh, yeah, I'm going to drive down here. You drive an hour there, hour back. That's 2 hours. Take you a half hour to walk the property, maybe even 45 minutes. So you're 3 hours of your day gone. Number two is the paperwork. The paperwork. If you don't have a transaction coordinator or an assistant or admin or somebody doing this stuff for you, you're going to be spending tons of time on the computer doing paperwork. Stuff behind the scenes people don't see. We got contracts to write, amendments to write, addendums to write, all this stuff. Every time there's an inspection, every time there's an appraisal, there's something that needs to be done. There's a sheet or a document that needs to be signed. Paperwork. That's number two. We spend a lot of time doing paperwork. So those good realtors, I do have a transaction coordinator. It took me a while to get one, but now it's a lifesaver. I love her to death because I don't have to do paperwork anymore. I'm like, oh my gosh. And you sit down and oh my God, take you 20 minutes to write up an offer when you first start out because you want to make sure it's right. You're double checking the math, make sure that's right. You don't want to screw nobody. You want to make sure everything's right. So you're double and triple checking. It takes time and to learn the paperwork. Oh my goodness, just to learn it. So people don't think about that. The education and time we put in to educate ourselves. So yes, paperwork. It seems like it's not, but there can be a lot. I can scroll through on here on a loop, and I can pull up, there's 12 documents in there. Need to be filled out, need to be signed. It's the name of the game. If you don't do your paperwork, you definitely ain't getting paid. So it is what it is. But we do paperwork, or we have to pay assistants or admins to do the paperwork for us. People, if you don't have one, realtors that don't, I feel for them. And yes, I know how it is. It's stressful because we do a lot of paperwork, a lot. Especially if you're busy and you're doing a lot of deals, you're gonna be doing a lot of paperwork. So that's my number two is the paperwork. Yes, we got to do it. It is what it is. If you don't do your paperwork, you don't get paid. So sometimes we pass that cost off, but that is something else behind the scenes that people are not aware of. They think we just go show homes and, oh, yep, under contract, man. Somebody's got to do the paperwork, right? So that is something. Number two is the paperwork that people say, well, what do you do to get paid? That it is. Number one, driving. We do a lot of driving, okay? We earn it through driving. Two, paperwork. We driving and then the paperwork that we do. You see, I don't have any hair. It's because I'm stressed out and doing paperwork. Or when I first started, I was doing a bunch of paperwork. So that is another one right there, number one and number two. Okay, people think that realtors get paid a lot of money. They don't do much. What do you guys do? You guys just go buy and sell houses, maybe write a contract, you get paid next day. It's a bunch of money. No, that is not way it works. It's not the way it works. I want to give you guys the insight, the low down and dirty, and just kind of give you guys a little insight. Obviously, I can't show it to you all, but throughout the process of my channel, hopefully you guys can see some of the things that we do behind the scenes. If you follow me on Facebook, I tend to show you guys some things that are, behind the scenes. Instagram as well. These are, the other channels and avenues where I try to show you guys what we do behind the scenes a little bit, to whether it may be the 20 houses that we showed this one couple, or the 30, or whether it just shows us at the closing table, or whether it shows us at the inspection and what's going on in the process of this inspection. So I want to show you guys a little bit of what it is behind the scenes, what us realtors do to earn our income, and to let you guys know, the public know, that there's things that you guys are not aware about that does cost us money on a daily basis that you guys are not aware of. And so once we do finally get that paycheck, we're like, man, we earned it because we've been putting in this work for a while now. Some realtors don't get paid every month. Some don't get paid every 2 months. Some are on this roller coaster, and to where I might get 2 checks this month. The next 2 months, I might not get nothing. But I'm going to tell you one thing, though. You are going to have to pay your realtor fees. You are going to have to pay your office fees. That stuff goes every month no matter what, whether you're making money or not. Here's the big kicker, too. I already went over number one, number two. So driving, then we got the paperwork, right? So number three, is negotiating. Or should I say time spent on the phone. Woo! Let me say it again. Time spent on the phone. I can sit here and record a video and my phone will ring 4 or 5 times. You never know. Everything that has to do with real estate most of the time has to do with being on the phone. We can send emails all day. People don't do faxes, but we can send emails all day. Most of the time it's getting done on the phone. So when we got to call your lender, when we got to call the appraiser, when we got to call to get an inspection, call to talk to our broker, call you, the client, back, numerous, texting, calling back and forth, negotiating, calling the other side, the listing agent. A lot of times we are on our telephones. So people don't realize, too, that's time away from your family. Even when I'm sitting down at dinner or sitting down with family, my phone is ringing or a text goes off, and sometimes you got to respond. God forbid if you don't respond, because then you're not a good agent, or you're not a responsive agent, or they're just going to go straight to the next one because you didn't respond. So it's hard to explain that to that significant other or your wife. Baby, I got to take this phone call. This is money. Or if you got Zillow leads or Realtor leads, oh, I got to take it. This is money. And sometimes there might be 5 people on your Zillow lead team, so now it's a race to see who can get to it first. Oh, that's money. Oh, it's money. On the phone. We are on the phone a lot. A lot. And I like being on the phone and I like talking. Obviously, from the videos, I don't mind talking. But sometimes I'd be like, man, I don't want to look at that phone. I don't even want to look at it because it's like it's the devil. I know as soon as I'm on it and I'm on it for 2-3 hours and I'm just like, man, where'd the time go? If you know a realtor, you know they got this attached to the hip. You know they're always on it. If they're not talking on it, then they're texting on it. Or if they're not doing that, they're checking emails on it. If they're not doing that, it's just there. But seriously, we spend a lot of time on the phone. So that's my number 3 is we spend a lot of time on our phone. Sometimes that does take away from family time and friends, things like that, because we're just busy. We can be, like I said, we can be in the middle of an outing and, we have to have the discipline to shut our phone off because we will get a lot of phone calls. If you're a busy, successful realtor, you're going to be getting a lot of phone calls. Sometimes they just call you out the blue with deals. If you're good, sometimes your clients just call you out of the blue just with questions or referrals, things that they may need on a home that they purchased. Or if you're in property management, your phone's going to be ringing because it's going to be a maintenance issue. Or whatever the case may be, your phone's going to be ringing. Make sure you got a good phone. But you can write off a portion of your cell phone bill as well. Contact your CPA so you can make sure you get your tax deductions for that. I'm all about saving money and tax deductions as well on your phone. Please save the money on your phone as well. So those are 3 things that we do as us realtors to stay afloat and stay in the business, right? There's some other things that we do people don't know behind the scenes. Doing the research and educating yourself. We'll just throw it all in a lump sum. People don't see that. For the time spent in classes, learning the craft, reading Realtor magazine, reading these other books and investor books and things like that to educate ourselves and to better ourselves as a person and to better ourselves as an agent and as a realtor to work for you guys. It takes a lot of time and sometimes it does take money. We have to invest in ourselves so we can produce at a high level. So, with that being said, the education piece, it's a very big piece, learning the craft of being a realtor. So, that is an opportunity cost. That is a cost of being a realtor, is educating yourself. Okay, we spend a lot of time educating ourselves and learning the trade. Okay, continuing education classes. There's negotiation classes. There's all types of classes just on ethics. Then there's the classes on laws, just so we make sure we stay up to date on all the laws as they change every year. So we got to stay up to date on that. These are things that people don't see behind the scenes, and I'm going back to the piece where I kind of went sidetrack is, like I said, I was going on education, right? What about me being, working with these investors? I got to educate my investors sometimes. Sometimes they don't know. Or, like I said, the research. Looking up these properties take time too. And then we got for our investors, like I said, back to the research piece, we're running numbers. They may send me a property. The first thing, I got a process I do with them. First thing, can you send me the seller's disclosure? Cool. If it's a multifamily, can you send me the multifamily rider? I want to see what's going on with the leases. I want to know what's going on with that. Oh, can you send me the tax information? Oh, okay. Can you send me all the documents that they have on the property? Okay, and then can you run comps on this property as well so I can see what the numbers are looking like? Oh, after that, can you run the cap rate and see what the cap rate is? On a computer, running numbers, okay? I'm looking and doing research, looking up properties, seeing what things have sold for, staying on track of the sold date and on market date, how long things have been going on market, what's the average sold price. These are all things that we have to do to educate ourselves so we are in the know and so we can give you a good service and a good product, which is us taking care of you, whether you're buying a home, selling a home, knowing how many homes are sold in your area in the last 6 months, knowing how many homes have sold in your home in the last month in your subdivision. Things like that we might not know off the top of our head, but we're going to have to go look them up. We're going to go have to research these things. So people don't think about that, but your good realtor is going to have these numbers, or they're going to find them if they don't have them. They're going to go look them up. They're going to go run comps. They're going to go see what all these homes have sold for in your area. These are a lot of things that people don't realize. You're like, oh man, what are realtors do? I'm letting you know these are the things that we do that add up, and it brings the value that we bring to the table when we're coming down and say, hey, we want to help you sell your property, or hey, we want to help you buy your property, and then help you negotiate it, making sure you get a good deal, making sure you're not overpaying, making sure you're not getting screwed, making sure you're not buying a piece of crap, things like that. Us knowing the market, us knowing about homes, the style of homes, the sizes, what makes a non-conforming bedroom into a conforming bedroom, things like that. These questions that you guys ask us, we have to know. We have to educate ourselves. Some of us even educate ourselves on the lending side. I try to stay away from that. But I would like to know the basic questions of the lending. So when you guys do ask, I can say, hey, I can answer that real quick. As opposed to always saying, hey, contact your lender. Right? But these are things that, go involved with being a realtor. And so to recap, I've named a lot already in just the first 4 or 5 things right now that I can think of off the top of my head. And I'm sure there's plenty more. Then you got five. You got the miscellaneous things that don't even come into the equation that people don't see. I can think of a couple things off the top of my head. I mean, hey, I work with out-of-state investors, right? Right. So I got a guy who's buying a property. The property needs cut, and under the process of selling and buying this property, now the grass is sky high in the back. I'm eating that cost because that's for my client. I'm not gonna nickel and dime you over $80 or $100, whatever it is to cut it. Hey, cool, I got you. Creating raving fans. I didn't even ask them. I just said, hey, by the way, this yard's getting cut. I'm gonna make sure I cut it or get somebody to cut it, take care of that fee for you. That way you won't have the city on your back while you're taking care of the other due diligence and the other more important things. Make sure that this yard is the least amount of your worries, right? So I had to call and find a guy and make sure he goes to cut it. So guy's supposed to go cut the yard today. $100 gone. Okay? But that's out of my pocket, but that's something I'm gonna do to take care of my clients, right? I don't want them getting a fine as soon as they buy the property. He calls me 2 weeks later. Hey, I got a fine. Why didn't you tell me the grass was cut? Or why didn't you tell me the city was acting like this with these properties? You know what I'm saying? So these are little things that people don't see. Going back and forth, meeting the general contractor over there to the house at the house so they can go run their bids. Meeting the plumber over there at the house, making sure they can go. They're doing their due diligence, right? So to go snake the drain. Meeting the property manager over there, letting him, giving him access to the property. Things like that, to where I might go back to the property 2 or 3 times. People were not aware about that. People were not thinking about that. People, all they think is, oh, you get a nice paycheck. And you didn't even do anything. Well, you didn't know that within the process of me getting this paycheck, I've been over to this house probably like 8 times doing the inspection. 2 or 3 GCs going over there. A plumber had to go over there. Now the guy's going over there to cut grass. I had to go over there too just to make sure everything's good, just to double check on the property. Go back over there to place the sign, pick the sign up. I mean, there's numerous things. So I can tell you, okay, I've been to the house 10 times in 2 weeks. That's just one property. So people don't realize, these are the things that we do. I think sometimes as agents that work with investors, we kind of have it hard because we're in the middle. We work with investors and first time, traditional buyers and sellers. So we get the glitz and glamour, but then we also get the other side too that some of these other agents have no idea about. You're not walking into properties that are vacant. You don't have to bring your flashlight and the tools sometimes, just to be able to get in and gain access to a property. But when you work with investors, these are some things that you might have to do. We get busy. So I'm just telling you guys that these are a lot of things that we do. And for you realtors that are new into the game, these are a lot of things that you do. You need to have to start and structure your time and structuring your compensation accordingly. And this is things that you have to learn being self-employed, especially when you got the Remax and the Keller Williams and all them in your pocket. That's the biggest one that people don't know. People don't realize how much they like to fine us and give us fees if your listing ain't on time, or if your listing wasn't shown the day that it was open and on market, they're going to fine you, and you're going to have to pay your realtor fee to your broker every month, and then you're going to have to pay fees. We pay a lot of fees. And so with all that being said today, I just want to let you guys know that realtors do a lot of things behind the scenes. This is my video today. Hopefully it wasn't too long, but I want to let you guys know that there's a lot of things that we do behind the scenes that you guys are just not aware of. And so hopefully I can start showing you guys more of this stuff that's behind the scenes. Please click below to subscribe, share, comment. If there's more things, if you're a realtor and there's things that you know that you do behind the scenes, comment below. I'm sure I forgot some. Yeah, we can discuss it. Maybe I'll add into another video. But yes, if you found any information valuable, anything on this channel, if you guys have any questions or comments, please feel free to do that below. And if you're a realtor, where are you from? If you learn anything from my video, if you're new, if you're an entrepreneur, hey, I just like to know who I'm talking to and who's watching my videos. So please comment below. I'm going to end it out like this. Everybody stay safe, stay blessed, put your mask on, keep safe from all the COVID madness going on out here. And if you need anything, I'm always a phone call away, or shoot me a text. And like I said, subscribe and like to the channel. Thanks for chiming in. Y'all have a good one.